Welcome to the 580 podcast from 580 Orwell Road. This is a podcast from West Jackson students where we will address different trends, topics, and truths that relate to the lives of students today.
Hey guys, welcome back. How's it going? Good? Everybody
Good.
good?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's our first podcast back since West Day weekend. We all had an awesome time. We hope that you did too. If you weren't able to be there, make sure and check out the live stream that's posted on the YouTube channel. It's in the link in our bio if you want to check that out. Our last podcast, we talked about loneliness and singleness and the hardships of that. And so this week, we're going to kind of jump in to relationships and just the kind of the opposite end of that and how to work through those things. But to start us off on a light note, we're going to jump in with some Christian pickup lines.
Yes.
My favorite.
Yeah, get excited. We've got some good ones ready for you guys today. So I'm going to start us off with this one. It says, "The word says to give drink to those who are thirsty and feed the hungry. So how about dinner tonight?"
That's a good
That's
one.
lit.
That's a good one.
Nice. All right. So we all know the Book of Esther. Did you say your name was Esther? Oh, I guess I was just thinking you were chosen for such a time as this.
That's me.
Oh,
Get
good
real
one.
biblical. That one.
And another good one. You put the stud in Bible study.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is last night I was reading the book of Numbers and I realized I didn't have yours.
It's good. That actually can go both ways. I feel like you could say that to a guy or you could say that to a girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Solid. Either way.
It's a solid multiversal one.
That one's actually been pulled on me, but then I found out that they lost a bet and had to go
Oh,
find
yeah.
someone. And I just
Yeah.
was the person they found, so, you know.
That's all right.
It's a little creepy, so it's okay.
It's okay.
Have you ever made up a number for somebody? Like if
Absolutely.
like the right amount of digits or just
So fun fact, I used to have the Corey B. Trott's phone number memorized from the
That's
commercial.
amazing. From the
Once-
commercial from
Yeah,
kids.
I gave that number out
That's
one time.
amazing. That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's great.
Allison, are you okay?
Yeah, I think so. Why?
Oh, it just looked like it hurt when you fell from heaven.
Man.
Classic.
Classic.
It's a classic
Good
one.
It's good.
Thank you,
Another
thank
good
you.
one. Is your name Grace? Because you are amazing.
Good old hymns. Gotta love 'em.
Wonderful.
I did not want to laugh at that one.
You have to. You have to.
This is a new one that I heard, but it's probably my favorite one ever. I like my girl like I like Microsoft Word documents. Saved.
Amen. That's a word. That's
Or
a
boy,
word.
girl,
I love-
boy, either way.
Retweet.
You can change that.
I love it.
Another good one is, you remind me of the 21 letters in the alphabet. Wait, I forgot U-R-A-Q-T. That'll get 'em all.
Nice.
That'll get 'em
That's
all.
smooth right there.
Smooth.
Do you believe in love at first sight, or do I need to walk by again?
Man.
Classic.
Yeah, that
Classic.
one's good.
And
Yeah.
then, you know, a good one to end on are you a camera? Because you make me smile.
Yeah.
How sweet.
That's actually really tender. I feel like you could say that to just about anybody. Like
Everybody
like,
smiles
that's
for
a
a camera.
everybody pickup line. Like, you know, that's just kind.
That's just being kind.
That's good.
Well, that was a fun time. Save some of those, put them in your phone, use them when you need a
That's right.
need a good intro. Or don't.
Or just
Probably
hit
not.
me up
You
and I'll
probably
help
shouldn't,
you out.
actually. But so, like Allison said, we are talking about relationships today, and we have Josh Ward and his wonderful wife, Kelsey.
Special
Hello.
guest, yeah.
We're hyped to have her here. She's pretty cool. So they are going to be answering questions that some of you have sent in and some that we have. Just talking about relationships. So Kelsey, how about you start us off and tell us how you and Josh started dating?
So we knew each other from high school. We went to high school together here at Madison. And then he left for college and deleted my phone number.
Okay.
Ouch.
Ah.
It's
tough.
tough, but it's the truth. So, yeah. And then, you know, he went to college for a couple years and then I slid into his DMs and, you know,
Yeah,
the
you
rest is
did.
history.
DMs to dating.
Atta girl.
I feel like I need to defend myself on the high school bit. Just because we did have a little bit of history in high school.
That's fair.
You were actually the very first girl I ever took to a dance.
Oh,
I do remember texting you and saying, "Please don't wear heels."
Yeah.
Uh,
He was a little lacking in the
Short
height
boy
department.
props.
Breaking challenge. I remember that my dad drove us in the Dodge Caravan.
Yeah,
to
we were
the
both 15.
Yeah, neither one of us could drive, so we both were in the bucket seats of the minivan
Solid.
to the DoubleTree Hotel for the winter formal.
You can only
sophomore
go
year.
up from there. you know?
Man, yeah. But then we just kind of separated in high school, kind of went our separate ways.
But like, why did you delete her
but
phone
the
number?
phone number thing,
Because like I still got phone
I'm
numbers from like middle school.
I'm pretty
Mhm.
confident, pretty confident that I just had a dumb phone and then got a smartphone and lost all contacts.
Good excuse.
I'm, but
We'll go with
but
that.
the DM piece is 100% true. Like that is 100% true. I can remember it was around Easter of
Mhm.
my sophomore year of college, and I got a Facebook message.
It was a Facebook
It was a
DM.
Facebook
was.
DM.
Right.
Yeah.
Circa 2013.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about right.
Wow, 8 years. Go us. And I remember you were asking, what am I going to do when I came home for Easter?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we came home.
And the rest is history.
That's right. We did the long distance gig.
How was that?
You know,
It was tough.
it was
I mean,
tough.
I think.
It was not ideal.
Yeah. But, you know.
I feel like Skype was kind of on its way out.
Yeah.
We never Skyped much. I think we FaceTimed more.
We did. There was a period we would text every day, and then and then we
Yeah.
started fighting every day over text. So I was like, we're just not going to text each other.
We'll get into
anymore.
that later on in the podcast about
Yeah.
texting in a relationship. But yeah, we did the long distance thing. I guess it was like 3 years.
2. I think.
2
A little
2 years
over
of college,
2,
and then
yeah.
you moved to Oklahoma after I got the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we started.
Well, how precious.
So sweet. All right, so what about some dating advice that you guys got growing up, or just anything that you would give to everyone listening?
I'll start on that. I think my parents, if you know my parents, whether they're in Sunday school and stuff on Sunday mornings, my parents were very dedicated to reading about just about every parenting dating book they could get their hands on. Mainly because they did want to guide and direct me. I was not always receptive to that as a high school student, but they did intentionally, whether I liked it or begrudgingly went along with it, provided just various different pieces of advice, ranging from be sure that you're looking to, date to marry, not just, kind of twiddling your thumbs, treating dating like it's the destination, which is so easy for us to do, right? We think like dating is it. It's if I'm dating and then we have that piece of our life figured out, but dating is not necessarily the destination. It's more the transportation. It's the journey of getting to your future marriage, or that final destination of being married, but treating dating like it was you had to be super intentional. I think the other thing which was challenging at the time, but I think, like, how hindsight 2020, like, this would be something that I did not receive as a teenager that I'm now as a 27-year-old I'm looking to encourage people to do is to avoid being so exclusive that your significant other becomes your world. I think we have a tendency when dating to because we want to spend time with this particular individual, we say significant other, but choosing to say this sounds bad when you say significant others, like you have multiple, but choosing to say that you have multiple people in your life that are significant.
Keeping community, even.
Yeah.
You gotta have friends.
Right. And so doing the best you can to either when you're with your significant other, having other groups that you're able to be with. Because I think what we've seen so frequently, either when we were in high school or now for students that date, is whenever the breakup happens, they're kind of left in
they don't know where
they're kind of on an
Yeah.
island all by themselves. They don't necessarily know who their people are because they've only had a person. And so their identity and their whole world has kind of become that person. So talking about the advice that I received was a lot about being inclusive, almost dating within a group. Like, it wouldn't be weird if the significant other and you obviously went out to a movie on a Friday night, but it wouldn't be weird if 12 of your friends also went to the movie and it was like a big hangout sort of thing. I didn't care for that because I just wanted to hang out with just the girl. But I also didn't see the
value in that.
Yeah, or even the dangers of it, of just being so singularly focused, right? Like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
It's good advice for me.
So what's some bad dating advice that you received growing up?
Oh, I'm gonna let you start with this one about peers. I know this is something that we talked about a little bit.
Yeah, so I think it's less the actual advice and kind of more the source of the advice. So, like, I think it's just important to take your advice from more like trusted individuals, I guess. So, like, you kind of have to take advice from your peers with a grain of salt. People with the same level of experience as you
Right.
don't generally, they're not generally going to be able to give the best advice. So I think it's important to, for lack of a better term, seek wise counsel and, take your advice from, older adults who have your best interest at heart and, well, frankly, know more than you, honestly,
Good.
Yeah. No, I think that's so good. And I know it relates to our next question on here.
Yeah. So a lot of times as teenagers, I'm sure y'all did this too. You don't really want to. Most of us didn't really want to involve our parents in the drama or details of our lives. So talk a little bit about what it should look like involving your parents in your dating relationship.
I would start by saying do it and involve your parents in it. Now, I think there is a fine line for the parent to walk as well. Of as you gain trust and earn trust probably from your parents. One, the parent does have to give you a certain level of trust, but at the same time, you have to in turn earn it in the way that you are responsible, especially in the way that you're respectful around your parents. Because whatever parameters your parents give you to run in terms of dating, run in that lane. I think. Unfortunately,
I think it's important to just remember. I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No, you're
but
good.
it's important to just remember that they're never gonna lead you in a way to harm you. Like, they're only gonna do things, and you may not see that now, but they're never gonna do anything to intentionally hurt you. Like, they're only gonna lead you in a direction that they think is best.
Right, and choosing to trust them, I think, is the hardest part in this, is because the parent is in a unique role. You're in a unique role as the teenager of. They're kind of the gatekeeper, but also like the wise individual that you can come to. And so if you have that healthy sense of trust, it gets really fun because, one, they're married, you're not, and they're able, or assuming that they're married. Sometimes they aren't. But at least as a parent, they're an older, wiser individual, and they had some experience in knowing how to either guide and direct you, or at least point you to other people that can also guide and direct you as well. But involving them, I think, is crucial. Just so that there is trust that's formed, and you're not making your world so small in regard to the one individual. You want to, when you mentioned community earlier, I think that's another piece of the community. It's so easy to think of community as like our small group or like our school friends, but your parents, really, well, they're also in the community. They're the closest part. But yeah.
So, Kelsey, this one's kind of for you. What traits do you look for in a boyfriend, or did you, I guess?
Yeah, not looking anymore. No, I think the main things that I always say are kindness and gentleness. And I saw this probably on Instagram a long time ago, but it said, if he's nice to you, but he's not nice to the waiter, he's not a nice person. And
that's a word.
So that, I think, that's important. Like, he may, if he acts nice to you, but then he is a jerk to the waiter at the restaurant, or, the guy in the parking lot, or the guy checking you out at Kroger or whatever, like, that's not, that's a red flag for sure. And then I think just gentleness, like making sure that he's always like, I think more so even like how does he treat the other women in his life? Like how does he talk to his mom? Like does he talk about his mom like he hates her guts, you know? Like
Sure.
how does he
Yeah.
treat his little sister even if she's annoying, you know? Like I think it's important that he knows um how to interact with women, I guess, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two things that I think are really important.
Absolutely.
So, Josh, what did you look for in a girlfriend?
Yeah. I think there's like a million different ways that the list could be a mile long, right, for both of these. But I think for me, something that was really crucial, I think meeting with or talking just with my dad about this was somebody that was going to make me better. Not so much that like you're dating your coach, somebody that's going to train you, but somebody that I felt like I needed to put my best self forward. You know, like I need to be a gentleman all the time. It didn't feel like and not so much that I wasn't able to be genuine or authentic, but it was like you need to step your game up in the way that you need to care for and protect and do those sorts of things. And I think being somebody who cause you to raise the standard of your own life. Obviously, I think when we talk about finding a significant other, one of the best ways to look for that person is obviously hopefully you see Jesus in them more than you just see what they bring to the table. And I know that's a given, but I think for whatever reason that becomes kind of 2 or 3 on the list of man, they're attractive, or man, they're funny, and then oh, by the way, thank goodness.
Yeah. Oh,
They're
yeah.
also a
They love
Christian,
Jesus.
you know.
Third line in the Bible.
Yeah, and so like
Yeah.
I think, honestly, changing our perspective of like, oh, they are sold out for Jesus, but then by the way, they have all of you treat that trait as primary, and then some of the other secondary things. But I don't want to give just the Jesus answer. I think for me, personally, I think some of the things that I looked for. And Kelsey matched a lot of these. I think I wanted to be able to be myself. I can remember the first date. I wanted to be able to eat wings and have like sauce all over my face.
Nice.
And it was good to be able to know like what, you know, am I going to have to clean myself up, or is it okay to wear sweatpants around this person? And that was something pretty early on. It was like I wanted to be able to be my full self, and not so much that, you know, we don't ever dress up and go out, but there are times I think we wanted to feel like we could be authentic and real with each other. To be the stereotypical youth pastor, I also wanted somebody that was my smoking hot wife.
Gotta brag from the stage.
Right.
Got to.
But I don't think that's inappropriate to say that that a trait is somebody who's physically attractive, who's somebody who's beautiful both inside and out. I think it's okay to think that they look beautiful on the outside as well. I think God has wired us that way. I think that's a good thing. So
Awesome. Transitioning that a little bit. So now that you found each other, how do you handle fights in your relationship? I know you talked about the whole texting thing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
tell the backstory, and then we'll talk about how we.
Yeah, so when we were doing long distance, we would text every day, try to call every day, but
Right.
that didn't always happen, but we would always text. And there was so much that is either lost in texting or misinterpreted.
Oh my. Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah, so we would text, and then he would say something and I would take it away that he didn't mean it, and then we would go back and forth, and I finally one day I was like, you know what, we're not doing this anymore. We're just not gonna text anymore, ever. Don't text me.
We like
Ever
agreed.
again.
Like
We agreed. We were like,
a
we're
joint
just not
hiatus.
doing it.
We are not.
Not even like a good morning,
No,
have a good
no,
day.
We just
No.
like refused.
And that lasted about 16 hours,
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
And
Solid
then I was
16
like,
hours.
I miss you. But yeah, so that's probably not the healthiest way to
Right.
to address issues, but it was all I knew at the time. So
Yeah, but I think it taught us to like the value of the face to face, and
yeah,
like
for
a
sure.
like a relationship that exists over the phone is I mean, I think we've even seen that through COVID,
Yeah.
the fact that interpersonal relationships require people. It's not
Yeah.
just devices, But I think that kind of brings us into today, just how to have those hard conversations.
Yeah, it's I think it's really important in a relationship to learn how to fight well. Which sounds weird, and I had heard that before we got
Yeah.
married, but it's so true. I
Yeah.
think to learn how to not be so reactive
Yeah.
in arguments or conflicts or whatever you want to call it, but to learn how to not speak out of anger and
Right.
take a deep breath and evaluate, does this really need to be said, or am I trying to hurt the other person
Right.
by saying it?
Mhm.
And I think, that sounds kind of an immature thing, like, I want to hurt you, so I'm going to say this, but it is so easy to do. And
Right.
so I think it's
Right.
important to think, do I mean this? Is it true? Is it necessary? And is it going to help the situation, or is it going to
Right.
hurt
It's
the
like
situation?
you win the argument, but you lost
But
the
yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's so good. I think something, obviously, there are certain things we've done via texting. I don't think any one of us say K anymore.
Yeah.
That's like K somebody. That's all.
That's over, man.
I don't think we've done that.
Yeah.
In a long,
Not anymore.
So do you spell out the whole word or just put okay?
Okay,
The
for
whole
me,
word.
for
All
Okay,
four letters.
okay.
it's very rare. I'm not like a one word texter very often. Now, like the thumbs up emoji is kind of my go-to.
Yeah.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like in conversations in person now, I think that my saving grace comment has always been, don't hear what I'm not saying.
Yeah.
When we're clarifying, either a conversation or something, it's a good setup
Yeah.
to be able to clarify. Here's what I really mean.
And this is what I don't mean, because I know it could come across this way, but don't hear this because this is not what I'm saying.
Right.
So one thing that we always hear is to keep Jesus in the center of our relationships. So what does that really look like, and what's the reality of actually doing that?
Serving each other. I think that's just not in a romantic relationship. I think that's all relationships, is this idea of we're here to serve one another. I mean, we talked about this past week in 1 Peter 4, but serving one another in love, being willing to put the other first, I think has been crucial for keeping Jesus
Mhm.
served us, and in turn we serve one another. I think that's a healthy relationship.
So to close, what is one thing about dating you wish you had learned sooner?
Man, that's a good one. I think in terms of dating, something I wish I'd learned sooner is that it feels like such a big deal in the moment, and it is. But choose to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's so easy to think like here and now, and not to view, the wide scope of your community, the wide scope of your friendships, wide scope of your life,
Mm-hmm.
really, in regard to how you interact with people, protecting your own heart. I know that sounds like such a cliche, churchy thing, but it's true that you want to guard not only yours, but also to guard the other person's. Not to be selfish, but to think, all right, how am I going to protect myself, but also how am I a protector of others?
Yeah.
It's something that I wish that I'd learned sooner.
Yeah. And to go along with that, I think like envisioning and like practically, like how could my actions affect my future, and also my decisions, like how could those affect the person I'm dating, or my friendships, and that carries over to all kinds of relationships. But like, how do my actions, how could they possibly affect other people's futures? And because and do I want that kind of power,
Right.
if for lack of a better term? But
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I'm sure there's a lot more things that y'all could say and a lot more wisdom. So if you need dating advice, go find Josh and Kelsey. They'll help you out. They're very wise people. But yeah, that's all we've got for today. So thanks for joining us as we talk about relationships and what that looks like. And just remember to keep the Lord at the center of all of that and seek Him before anything else. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for joining us on the 580. We'll see you again next time.